What happens to a man's psyche when the ghost of absolute, unadulterated perfection sits at his family dinner table every single night? Welcome back, baseball fans, to another explosive edition of our deep dive into the Philadelphia Phillies 2026 spring training camp down in Clearwater, Florida. Today, we are unpacking a story that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a Hollywood sports drama. We are talking about the immense, suffocating weight of legacy, the brutal reality of the business of baseball, and a towering giant who is fighting for his professional life. Last December, the Phillies front office made a blockbuster, highly controversial move that sent shockwaves through the fan base. They traded away the beloved, fiery left-hander Matt Strahm to the Kansas City Royals. In return, they acquired a 29-year-old, 6'6", 240-pound right-handed behemoth named Jonathan Bowlan. When you trade a proven fan-favorite commodity like Strahm, the city of Philadelphia demands immediate answers and spectacular results. But Bowlan isn't just battling the ghosts of trades past. He is chasing a standard of excellence set by his own bloodline. To truly understand the fire burning inside Jonathan Bowlan, you have to travel back to 1987. His father, Mark Bowlan, a right-handed pitcher for the University of Memphis, achieved the rarest feat in all of sports. He threw a perfect game against Louisville. To put that into perspective, since 1957, there have only been 21 9-inning perfect games in the entire history of Division I NCAA baseball. That is the gold standard. Growing up just 25 minutes from his father's alma mater, Jonathan bled Memphis blue. He eventually pitched for the very same Tigers, and in 2018, he carved his own name into the history books with a jaw-dropping 18 strikeout performance against a 20th-ranked South Florida team. He threw 128 pitches that day. 0 walks. Every single out was a swinging strike 3. It was a masterpiece of sheer dominance. Jonathan Bowlan pitching Memphis Tigers. But college glory does not guarantee major league survival. Now, Bowlan finds himself thrust into the ultimate pressure cooker, Philadelphia. The transition from the relatively quiet, small market atmosphere of Kansas City to the roaring, unforgiving cauldron of Citizens Bank Park is a psychological gauntlet. Half of the Phillies fan base is still furious about losing Strahm, viewing this trade as a massive gamble by the front office. The other half, the analytical junkies, see a diamond in the rough, a pitcher with off-the-charts metrics who just needs the right environment to explode. Bowlan himself admits that playing in Philly is a lot, acknowledging the intense passion of a crowd that will boo you off the mound for a leadoff walk, but will build you a bronze statue if you strike out the side in October. As we stand on the precipice of the 2026 season, the question isn't just whether Bowlan can make the team, it's whether he can handle the crushing weight of Philadelphia's championship expectations while carrying his family's legacy of perfection on his massive shoulders. Let us strip away the emotional narrative for a moment and dive deep into the cold, hard analytics, because the numbers behind Jonathan Bowlan's arsenal are absolutely terrifying for opposing hitters. When the Phillies' scouting department pulled the trigger on the Matt Strahm trade, they weren't just guessing. They were looking at a very specific, highly coveted trait: elite swing and miss capability. In the modern era of Major League Baseball, where contact is penalized and strikeouts are the ultimate currency, Bowlan is a billionaire. Among 357 pitchers who threw at least 200 four-seam fastballs in the 2025 season, Bowlan generated the highest swing and miss rate in the entire sport at a staggering 43.5%. Let that sink in. Nearly half the time a major league hitter decided to swing at his fastball, they hit nothing but empty air. This isn't just good. This is historically elite territory, reminiscent of the unhittable fastballs we used to see from prime Craig Kimbrell or Aroldis Chapman. Jonathan Bowlan pitching mechanics release point. But how does a guy who struggled so mightily as a starter suddenly possess the most lethal fastball in baseball? The secret lies in his incredibly rare 5-pitch mix, a luxury most relievers simply do not have. Bowlan attributes his fastball success to his ability to flood the strike zone with his off-speed pitches. By proving he can throw his secondary stuff for strikes in any count, hitters are forced to respect the entire arsenal, making that high-spin four-seamer look like it's jumping out of a cannon. And then, there is the sinker. Used only 17% of the time last season, this pitch is Bowlan's secret weapon. It ranked third in the league in opponents' hard hit rate at a microscopic 10.7%. He calls it his quick-out pitch, a ground ball-inducing nightmare that can erase a base runner with a double play in the blink of an eye. To tie this symphony of destruction together, Bowlan utilizes a devastating slider, primarily deployed to neutralize right-handed batters. Last spring, he finally found the perfect grip and release point for it, resulting in a 40.2% whiff rate. It became his ultimate put-away pitch. When you combine a 6'6" frame that creates a steep downhill plane, a fastball that misses bats at a historic rate, a sinker that shatters bats, and a slider that makes hitters look foolish, you have the anatomical blueprint of a late-inning monster. The tactical shift here is fascinating. Historically, pitchers with 5 distinct pitches are forced to remain starters. But the Phillies are embracing a new age philosophy. Take a starter's deep arsenal, condense it into 1 inning, max effort bursts, and watch the velocity and spin rates skyrocket. If pitching coach Caleb Cotham can refine Bowlan's command just a fraction more, the Phillies haven't just replaced Matt Strahm, they may have accidentally built the most dangerous setup man in the National League. However, the road to this elite bullpen profile was paved with agonizing setbacks, physical trauma, and profound mental hurdles. To appreciate where Jonathan Bowlan is right now, fighting tooth and nail in Clearwater, you have to understand the crucible of adversity that nearly ended his career before it even truly began. The 2020 minor league season was completely wiped out by the global pandemic, stalling his crucial developmental years. Then, just as he was finding his rhythm with 4 dominant starts to open the 2021 campaign, disaster struck. Bowlan felt that dreaded pop in his elbow, a torn ulnar collateral ligament, Tommy John surgery. For a young power pitcher, this is the ultimate nightmare. The grueling, lonely rehabilitation process tests a player's sanity. When he finally returned to full action in 2022 and 2023, the results were disastrous. Trying to reclaim his identity as a starting pitcher, he posted consecutive ERAs north of 5.90. He was getting shelled, his confidence was wavering, and his prospect shine was rapidly fading. Baseball pitcher Tommy John surgery scar. It was a lot mentally. Bowlan confessed about the injury and the subsequent struggles. But this is where the makeup of a champion is forged. He viewed the darkest period of his professional life as a blessing, a necessary trial that strengthened his faith and his mental resilience. In 2024, the Kansas City Royals organization made the franchise-altering decision to move him to the bullpen at AAA Omaha. It was a massive culture shock. Bowlan admitted he had absolutely no idea how to prepare for the chaotic, unpredictable life of a relief pitcher. He had to swallow his pride, sit back, and become a student of the game all over again. He relentlessly questioned the veteran relievers, absorbing every ounce of knowledge about daily routines, arm care, and the adrenaline management required to pitch on back-to-back nights. This brings us to the massive roster implications for the 2026 Philadelphia Phillies. Bowlan is currently out of minor league options. This is a critical, do-or-die contractual detail. It means the Phillies cannot simply send him down to AAA Lehigh Valley if he has a bad week in spring training. If he doesn't make the 26-man opening day roster, he must be exposed to waivers, where any of the other 29 teams will instantly snatch up a guy with a 43.5% whiff rate. The front office is backed into a corner. They traded a valuable asset in Strahm to get him, and now they are forced to make a definitive choice. Last year, Bowlan leaned heavily on former Phillies all-star reliever Carlos Estevez, another massive 6'6" presence, to find his footing, resulting in a solid 3.86 ERA in the big leagues. Now he must prove that those adjustments are permanent. The bullpen chemistry, the luxury tax cap hit, and the overall ceiling of this pitching staff hinge on whether Bowlan can secure one of those final, highly coveted spots. As the Florida sun beats down on the backfields of the Carpenter complex, the reality of the situation is crystal clear. Jonathan Bowlan does not need to be perfect to survive in Philadelphia, but he does need to be undeniable. The Phillies are a franchise operating with a singular, obsessive goal: winning the World Series. They are not looking for a feel-good story. They are looking for cold-blooded executioners to deploy in the 7th and 8th innings of tight playoff games. Bowlan knows the bar is astronomically high. He admits he is his own harshest critic, a trait undoubtedly inherited from a family tree rooted in baseball immortality. The word perfect continues to haunt and inspire him. Not only does his father hold that legendary 1987 perfect game, but Jonathan himself came agonizingly close in the pro ranks. In 2019, he threw a spectacular no-hitter that was literally one defensive error away from being a perfect game. "Dang, it was so close," he reflects, knowing that his father still holds the ultimate trump card at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Looking ahead to the 2026 season, the projections for Bowlan are incredibly polarizing. If he harnesses that 5-pitch mix and embraces the hostile electric energy of Citizens Bank Park, we are looking at a potential breakout star. Imagine a scenario in late September. The Phillies are clinging to a one-run lead against the Braves. The bases are loaded, and Rob Thompson calls upon the 6'6" giant. If Bowlan unleashes that unhittable four-seamer and devastating slider to strike out the side, the city of Philadelphia will embrace him as a folk hero. The ghost of Matt Strahm will vanish, and the front office will look like absolute geniuses. However, if the command falters and the pressure of the big market cracks him, the lack of minor league options means his tenure in red pinstripes could be brutally short-lived. It is a high-stakes game of poker, and the Phillies have pushed all their chips to the center of the table. Now, I want to hear from the absolute most passionate, knowledgeable fan base in the world. What is your final verdict on Jonathan Bowlan? Do you believe his historic swing and miss metrics will translate into high leverage dominance for the Phillies? Or are you still furious that the front office traded away Matt Strahm for a guy with no minor league options left? Can this towering right-hander handle the brutal pressure of Philadelphia and write his own legacy? Or will he be another casualty of the waiver wire? Drop your boldest predictions, your deepest frustrations, and your tactical analyses down in the comments section below. I read every single one of them. If you love this exclusive deep dive into the trenches of spring training, do me a massive favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a second of our 2026 Phillies coverage. Stay loud, stay faithful, and as always, let's go Phillies.